In 1987, a team of Nigerian engineers completed the design for a new bridge across the River Niger. At the time, the river near Onitsha was served by only one road bridge, which had been built in 1965. The plan were finished, the engineering challenges had been solved, and the bridge was ready to be built. It would not carry a single car for another 36 years. This is the Second Niger Bridge, a 1.6-kilometer crossing linking Asaba and Onitsha. The two trading cities the old 1965 bridge could no longer keep up with. It opened to traffic at the end of 2022 and was commissioned the following year. Now here is the part that is easy to get wrong. While Nigeria's drawing sat in drawers, China was throwing bridges across gorges like this one. The Wajian Grand Canyon Bridge, the tallest bridge on earth. Its deck higher than almost any skyscraper, standing today, went from empty canyon to open road in under 4 years. The story seems obvious. China built while Nigeria delayed, but that is not what happened. When construction finally began, the bridge itself took about 5 years to build, roughly the same amount of time it took China to complete its record-breaking bridge across gorge of similar size. The bridge itself was never the challenge. Nigerian engineers had already finished design in 1987. What took 36 years was everything that happened before construction could begin. And that story starts with a promise made during an election campaign. This is that story. If you're yet to subscribe to my channel, kindly like and subscribe. Let's get back to the video. To understand the second bridge, you have to start with the first. The First Niger Bridge opened in 1965, connecting the city of Onitsha in the east to Asaba in the west. Two banks of the River Niger, the river that splits Nigeria almost in half for the entire southeast of the country. This one crossing was the artery. Goods, traders, families, fuel, everything moved across it. It was built for a country of 50 million people. Today, Nigeria has more than 200 million. By 1980s, engineers were already warning that the bridge was carrying load it was never designed for. Too many trucks, too much weight, cracking appearing in the structure. The solution was obvious to everyone. Build a second bridge before the first one fails. That's where our 36 years begin. In 1987, Nigeria's military ruler, General Ibrahim Babangida, did something that on paper should have ended the story before it started. He challenged Nigeria's own engineers to design a new crossing, and they delivered. The Nigerian Society of Engineers, the country's professional body of engineers, set up a dedicated firm, produced a full master plan, and handed the government a buildable design for Second Niger Bridge. The hardest intellectual work was done in 1987. Nigeria designed this bridge. Nigerian engineers, the country had the brain for it before most of today's mega projects in Asia were even imagined. What went wrong? First, the plan got heavier. The government decided the bridge shouldn't just carry cars, it should also carry an east-west railway line. A reasonable ambition, but every time you add scope to a project, you add cost. You add complexity, and you add reasons to wait for the right moment. Then the right moment never came. Babangida's government collapsed into politics crisis and ended in 1993. The design went into a drawer. And here is the cruel part. The bridge was not finished as an idea. Fully designed, fully justified, universally agreed upon. From this point on, nothing that delayed it would have anything to do with engineering. It would all be politics. For the next 2 decades, Second Niger Bridge stopped being a construction project and became something else entirely. It became a promise. The military ruler ended and Nigeria returned to democracy in 1999, and the new president Olusegun Obasanjo pledged to deliver the bridge. For 8 years in office, almost nothing happened on site. He finally held a groundbreaking ceremony in Asaba. 5 days, 8 years. Then came President Goodluck Jonathan. In 2012, at a town hall meeting in Onitsha, he didn't just promise the bridge, he staked his reputation on it. He held a flag-off ceremony in 2014. Real work began to look possible, and then he lost the 2015 election, and the project contract was cancelled and re-examined by the incoming government. Do you see the pattern? Every election cycle, the bridge was sold to the people of the Southeast again, as if for the very first time. Every new government inherited it, paused it, repackaged it, and ran on it. One Nigerian newspaper started calling it the oldest construction site in the country. The bridge had become political currency, too valuable as a promise to ever be spent as a finished road. Because a finished bridge can only be opened once, an unfinished bridge can be promised forever. This is the real reason for the 36 years, not concrete, not engineering, the cost of treating a piece of national infrastructure as a thing to win election with instead of a thing to finish. Now look east. While Nigeria spent 3 decades promising one bridge, China was building river crossings at a pace the world had never seen. Recently, it opened the Ujjain Bridge, the tallest bridge on earth, a tower of steel over a gorge in the country's southwest, start to finish, 3 years ahead of schedule. A simple river crossing like the Second Niger Bridge, China built those in 2 to 4 years without a second thought. So is the lesson just let China do it? No. China is not faster because Chinese engineers are faster. It is faster because of how its system makes decisions. The Chinese government decided to build a bridge, commits the money once, and does not relitigate that decision every 4 years at an election. There is no incoming administration cancelling the last one's contract. There is no campaign that needs the bridge to stay unfinished. China's bridge goes up fast partly because there is far less public oversight in the way. Fewer environmental checks, fewer legal challenges, fewer chances for the people living nearby to say no. Speed and accountability pulled against each other. China chose speed. Nigeria, as a multiple-party democracy, has more friction by design. The tragedy isn't that Nigeria has democratic vision, it's that the friction got attached to the wrong things, to whether to keep a promise instead of how to build a bridge everyone already agreed on. So how did a bridge stuck for 31 years suddenly get built in 5? The answer is that someone finally changed how it was paid for. In 2018, construction restarted under a different model. The bridge was handed to Julius Berger, the construction firm behind many of Nigeria's most demanding projects, working alongside Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, the government body that manages the country's savings for long-term investments. Instead of relying on one budget line that could be cut or diverted at the next political turn, the financing was structured to outlast a single government term. And once the money was committed and protected from the election cycle, watch what happened. The piers went up, the deck went across. The same engineering challenge that has supposedly defeated Nigeria for 3 decades was solved in under 5 years by a Nigerian contractor on a Nigerian design over a Nigerian river. By December 2022, the bridge opened temporarily to ease the Christmas travel rush. In 2023, it was formally inaugurated, a 1.6-kilometer crossing, backed by more than 10 kilometers of new approach roads, an interchange, and a toll station. The cost had climbed over the years to somewhere around 336 billion naira, a number inflated as much by the decades of delay as by the steel and concrete themselves. Delay is not free. Every year a project sits idle, materials cost more. The naira buys less and the price tag grows. The 31 wasted years didn't just cost time. They quietly made the bridge far more expensive than the one designed in 1987 ever needed to be. Today there is a toll booth on the Asaba end of the bridge, a car pulls off, pays, and the barrier lifts. But every time that barrier lifts, it's settling an argument that ran for 36 years. Because the story of a second Niger bridge was never really about whether Nigeria could build a bridge. The drawing from 1987 proved it could. The 5 years build proved it again. It was about whether the country could hold a single decision steady for long enough to finish what it started, without an election getting in the way. China's 4 years and Nigerian 36 aren't a story about engineering. There is a story about commitment and what it cost a country when the people who promised the bridge need it to stay unbuilt. The bridge is finished now and the promise finally fulfilled. Thank you for watching. If you like content like this, kindly subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.